Hello, my name is Devonte Lemonte. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, in the United States, and I'm currently at Palma Coliving in Valencia. And I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Aspirio. We're a platform that brands use to get custom music and videos for their offline and online advertising. Why did I start the journey of being a digital nomad? Great question. So after living in places like Boston, Miami, Los Angeles, I was realizing that the world is so big and that I wanted to always have an international perspective. I got a little taste of it when I studied abroad, actually here in Valencia. That's how I first came here. And I just realized that all the stories that you might hear back home of like, oh, it's really expensive to go and live in another place, so you won't know anyone, oh, you can't speak the language. I just realized that all those were just excuses that people use because they're afraid. And I don't believe in living life of fear. I believe in doing the stuff that actually makes me feel uncomfortable and a bit fearful. And I think that's actually what you get when you come to a place like Palma. You encounter people who share the values of challenging themselves and having new experiences, of, just pushing the envelope. The first time that I heard about co-living was actually in Los Angeles, which at the time I didn't know much about, but as soon as I saw it, it resonated with me. They had cool things like co-working spaces, creative spaces as well. And the thing that actually really caught me was they talked about how you can meet people who you might even end up working with, collaborating with. So yeah, that was my first experience, co-living. It was a great all-star experience, and it had my mind open to being able to stay in a place like Palma here. I got into being a digital nomad and not necessarily having a home base after working at a company in California. Paid to move me all the way out to California from the East Coast. And I found out that they had already had in their plans to fire me and 400 other people just 10 months later. So when I realized that companies operate like that, that for me was like a big changing moment. Just see like from one day to the next, boom, you don't have a job anymore. So when that happened, I just said, okay, where do I want to go? And I ended up in Milan. And then from there, I was just like, oh, wow, I can now go to another city. That's just been the experience of how I started traveling around. Spent time in Berlin. I then moved back to Spain. I was in Madrid. And then I ended up back in Valencia. And who knows where I'll go next. Some of the challenges I had to overcome as a digital nomad was, first of all, understanding that every place that you go has its own cultural nuances. It's really easy to say oh yeah, I understand, but you have to actually live that as a value. Be open-minded, and most important in that is not take anything personal. I remember when I first came to Spain, this is a little embarrassing, but there were two girls that I became friends with, and they were very expressive and really nice. And I thought that because they would say things like, oh, cariño y amorcito, stuff like this, I was like, wow, these girls really like me. I don't know, it's just small things like that, those details, never assume that you know what it means. It's always just better to ask, because finally that wasn't the case. I mean, I know I'm very handsome, but they actually just wanted to be friends. So don't get yourself into awkward situations like that, just thinking that you know what something means. In the reverse, especially if you feel negative about an experience you have, keep in mind that one thing is your perception of something and another one is the perspective that other people have toward you in a situation. So it was that. And then also, this was an issue for me because I love languages. I spent time learning Mandarin Chinese, Spanish, a little bit of other languages. But I've noticed that a lot of digital nomads just kind of come to a place and just expect that people should speak their language and be accommodating to them. That's the wrong energy to have. You should really come with this childlike curiosity of just wanting to know and touch everything, and just know that you are not really an outsider, but you have to really show respect to other people's cultures. And the final thing is the legal part. When it comes to things around immigration, it is much better to do things right the first time than trying to take shortcuts. If there are any requirements around visas or, needing to steps you need to take to be able to live in a place, whether it's a co-living, whatever, I recommend spending the money to do it the right way. If you need to get a consultation with a lawyer or something, do it, because if you do it wrong, it's going to cost you a lot more later, a lot more headaches, a lot more money. So So you've been dreaming about living and working in a new place for the past year, past 2 years, and you still haven't done it. I'm sorry to tell you, but the only thing that's going to make that happen is just making the switch. You know, you only have one life to live, and you might be saying to yourself, oh, I can't afford it, or it's going to maybe hurt a relationship that I have. All I can say is that the people in your life, if they really love you, they want to see you happy. If part of your happiness is seeing what's out there, then you got to go and do it. And obviously do it properly and with good quality. Don't just, you know, quit your job today and randomly move to some other place. Actually, you could do that, and that could turn out to be a really fun adventure. But if your goal is to have a smooth transition, then it's probably best to count with a place like Palma, because having them as a partner, they know the landscape really well. They know they have all the connections. But yeah, like, you want to be location independent, there's only one solution. Do it. Talk to people like myself who's gone through it. Don't be afraid to ask for help, ask for some advice. Like I said, you got one life to live. And if you want to be abroad, you want to be free of all these, you know, lies that society tells us, that you need to have a mortgage, a house, the car. If you have those things, actually, you can just let someone else use it, make money from that funds your digital nomad lifestyle.